Free audio post-production. Biophonic.com.
Welcome to Take It from the Ironwoman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Ironwoman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Ironwoman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Ironwoman. We only have special guests, and today we talk to Dasha. When you read her bio, it's very corporate. Dasha helps R&D and scientific companies bring their newest technologies to market through go-to-market planning and market research and customer discovery. We can talk about that, but I'm more interested in your art, in your healthy living, in your farm, in your dancing, and just Dasha, the person. Give us a little glimpse into your life. What can we learn from you?
I always felt the kind of balance of my life, the yin and the yang. I have a part of my brain is very technical and very analytical. I call it fun fact, Dasha. She reads encyclopedias and then quotes them. And it's actually part of me that's not very approachable, a little bit demanding and a little bit difficult to get along with. And then I have this other part of me that's like very freeform and very artistic and very loose and creative. And I've always had to figure out, as when I was growing up, I was always feeling like I had to be one or the other. And what exactly do you do with a career in that? I discovered what it is. I have to ingest technical content and then help others understand and get behind it, see it and see the potential of it. So I can ingest all the facts, but I need to use my artistic side for expression. And because I have this expressive artistic side, I'm very grateful, but my parents put me in dance and they put me in art, and I got to do a lot of painting and developing of that visual side of my brain. When you do art, you go out in nature and you start really observing it. And I just fell in love with flowers. I fell in love with them so much. The painting behind me is one I did, but most of my art is flowers and vegetables and things that are growing and little things in the grass. At one point, I said to myself, I just can't ever paint a flower as beautiful as it is. There's nothing more beautiful than the flower. So I better start growing flowers because there's just no way for me to surpass what God's already created. And so I thought I might as well just start growing these things. And if I want to draw them, I'll just do it for myself or for others. But the most important thing is I should probably just encourage their growth and make sure they surround me and my neighborhood and everywhere I go.
Why do you say it's hard to get along with me? I feel like you're such a positive, inspiring, motivated, endlessly energy person. How can you be so hard?
I've learned to tap much more into that side of me that's more artistic when I'm with people, because I used to kind of be in the encyclopedic mode, kind of around people when I'm trying to work together with them. And it would confuse people because I would be very happy and positive one moment, but then when I would get really deep into content, my voice would change and I would sound a little bit like a robot who is just trying to get this thing done. It's been something that somebody noticed about me. They said, it's interesting. Sometimes you're like this and sometimes you're like that. What's going on? I had to start observing that and realize that sometimes when I get analytical, that's not a good time for me to try to be inspirational or to communicate. I need to go ingest, get my thoughts together, and then go out. That other side of me actually is a little bit intimidating. When I was younger, I wouldn't understand. I got feedback from my teachers that I was a little bit intimidating I'm not trying to intimidate anybody, but what they meant is I just wasn't very approachable. And when I was trying to learn, I would get into this mode where I was just like, what do you want from me?
But isn't that the gear of your brain is like, let's focus, let's be on target, let's get this job done, and then I can have fun.
It's a little bit like that. And it's just also being more aware. We have these different modes of how we work. And sometimes they're more consistent or less, but you have to get into a mindset to get the work done. And you have to be like aware of yourself and how you come through to people. Because sometimes if you're like in a particular mood or if you're in a very analytical mode, it can be hard to connect with people. And if you're going to be going and connecting with people, you got to like sit back down and say like, what's the best way for me to be with people in a way that they're going to enjoy and I'm going to enjoy. So I think self-reflection is just a powerful tool, and critique can be really valuable, especially early in your career where you might hear stuff about yourself from people and you might say, that's interesting. I didn't realize I did that.
And accept it. That's also when we're younger, sometimes we're like combative and we don't accept the feedback.
Yeah, it's true. It doesn't have to be personal either. You can accept it and not take it personally, like offensively. You can just say, that's interesting that what I think I'm trying to accomplish isn't getting accomplished. What does this mean? If this was an experiment and I was a scientist, something about my method or my process isn't coming through. How do I change it so I accomplish my goals? And when you focus on it that way, that I am very positive. I generally believe that people want to help each other and that people want to be together in a community. And so then when I get critique, I usually try to say, well, why did this person say this? Did they say this to help me in some way? Is there something here that'll help me be better, more connected, better at helping them or better at getting them to help me?
And was there a pivotal moment where you learned, you took that feedback to heart?
It's been over time, but I think one moment that was really powerful was actually more recently, even though I got this feedback a long time ago, but I was getting some voice training with Rachel Elena for the podcast that I do. I wanted to really be engaging and have great diction and intonation. And Rachel Elena is the voice of Ashley Furniture, and she's got this incredible voice training. So she listened and critiqued my podcast. And she told me that I was coming off a little robotic. And one of the things we worked on was, how do I sound more engaging even when I'm reading a bunch of facts and scientific information? One thing she said to me that it really stuck with me, she said, you could be the first person who reads scientific literature in a really fun and exciting way. But then the lesson that really got me being able to be more like this, engaged and excited when I come onto my podcast, is we had to really just work on the mindset before my podcast. Of course, I'm doing all the prep and I'm reading the biographies and all the science and the literature, but then I have to go and visualize something different. How we're going out, we're helping clients, or maybe how we're going out, we're bringing tasty food to people, or maybe we're as if we're just having this conversation in a more lively place. When I started doing that, I started remembering to bring my personality to the discussion, and that dry information can be enhanced when you are connecting with people at the same time and focusing on the personal side of things, not just on the facts.
Yeah. And for the listeners, what is the name of your podcast?
Biomedical Frontiers, Stories with Innovators in Healthcare.
That leads us to talking about healthcare. Tell us more about healthcare and why you're so passionate about it.
I'm very passionate about it. It matters to every person. Every human being is worried about it. They want it to be in great condition all the time.
And a quick fix.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's very important. We have a lot. It's not going so well in our country. There's many things that have gone very well. I just want to make sure and acknowledge we have some incredible advancements in medicine. But I think we've also had areas where our collective health has taken a real backseat. One of the things that's happening that's, I think, exciting, but very difficult for us societally right now is we've been, like you said, quick fix. We've been focused on almost outsourcing our health to other people. Hey, I'm going to go do my job. I'll work at 60 hours, American sort of mindset. We're going to work really hard, but somebody else is going to take care of this. I'll go to the doctor. They'll figure it out. I'll go to the grocery store and they'll pack it all into a package for me. And I'll just eat it as it is. We've moved things that have maintained our health kind of out further and further away from us mentally, but also physically. And that includes food systems where the food is close to you that you're eating so that you could go to the farm and see how food is being grown and make sure it's good food, or know the person who is providing it and be like, I trust you. You trust me. Your eggs are good. Your chickens were not fed something weird, or you haven't been putting too many antibiotics into your meat, or whatever that is. The further away we've gotten from our place of health and the people who do our health, and the less time we have and the less we are interested in it, the worse it's gotten. There's a movement to get re-engaged, but it's going to be a little bit painful because when you've kind of rolled things one way, now you have to roll them back. But the reason you're doing it is because you're already in a position of having a problem.
How does your diet look like when you say eat local, meet the people at the farm, get the healthiest stuff?
It was absolutely transformed by the book, How Not to Die. What a great catchy title. How Not to Die. Michael Greger has this incredible website where he has synthesized thousands and thousands of papers on herbs and vegetables and meats and dairy to try to figure out, like, what do we know about food? One of my biggest takeaways was vegetables, like really good vegetables and fresh herbs and various spices are just so good for you. They're just so good for you. You want to, even if you don't like them yet, just knowing how good they are for you, just how many incredible properties that are anti-inflammatory, cancer prevention, like brain stimulation. They're so good. You want to eat as much as possible. You've never had a tabbouleh salad. It's like parsley first, a little bit of tomato, cucumber, olive oil, tons of pepper. That's how you want to eat. You want to have a ton of that green stuff and all the different herbs and as much spices. You want it to be half Indian, half Greek, and just every spice imaginable in there, because it's so good for you and your body's just so grateful when it can eat like that.
I love the tabbouleh and the color also, the green, the parsley.
But a lot of people think parsley is something you sprinkle like this, just a tiny bit. But no, like you want to have all of that in maximum quantity. So one of the big transformations for me when I started thinking about healthy eating was refocusing from what not to eat to what I really want to make sure I'm eating a lot of. Like, go for the Brussels sprouts. They're so good for you. You're going to love them. But then there are things you probably don't want to be eating at all. And the really big one is, of course, sugar, processed sugar, added sugar in any form. And then there's like agave and honey, and you want to maybe have those in smaller quantities. And we don't want to just replace it one for one. That was a really difficult thing. I could not have 5 or 6 years ago when I quit eating sugar, have pictured myself saying no to ice cream. I just couldn't picture it. And my workplace where I worked, they had little pieces of chocolate candies in all the meeting tables. And it was so hard. And the first 2 months, it was like, okay, every day I'm like, we're not going to do it. We're just going to. But then incredible transformation took place. After you get over that first 2 weeks, the hardest, and then 2 months of little bit of cravings, all like kind of sugar rush, sugar drop feelings. You kind of feel energetic and then you slump in the middle of the day and then you start craving a little snack. All of that just went away. I didn't even feel breakfast hungry. I just wake up and, like, whether I eat now, I eat at noon, I eat at 2. When I eat, I don't get super hungry. And then the fruits started tasting really sweet to me. Like, now when I take a piece of cake for New Year's or for my mom's birthday or something like that, I can't eat like normal cake at all. It has to be something very low sugar, because otherwise I'm just like, it's kind of gross to me. It's just too much. My brain's like, this is not really that good. Fruits are just so flavorful, and like blueberries by themselves are just like to me. So that's the farm I have.
Yes, let's talk about the farm.
But I've been on this journey for a while. And at some point, I guess, just like the flowers, growing my own food became more and more important to me. I realized that we have some things really broken with our food system. Like, you just can't, a lot of the times you just can't find the food you want to eat. If you wanted to eat locally, you have to go to farmers markets. A lot of them are only open on Saturdays or Sundays. Now, you have kids, you've got competing events, they've got soccer, they've got dance. I've always tested out the CSAs in my area. The CSA is Community Supported Agriculture. I've had some great CSAs I've participated in that have really good veggies and good quantities of them and good fruits and herbs. And I started realizing I wanted to be in a place where I could really get into growing food. I started looking for land, and I found an abandoned blueberry farm that really needed some work and got some help in the process of restoring it. And while I'm restoring it, providing some food to the local community where the farm is located. so that local people can also buy local blueberries. They're pesticide-free, everything free. They've never been sprayed, and the soil is just wonderful. And it's so important to keep places like that pesticide-free and herbicide-free.
And for the listeners, if you go on the Facebook page of White Springs Beans and Berries, you see her on the tractor. I was watching that video twice. Is this Dasha? Is this really her? Is that how you rejuvenate while you're so analytical and driven, but then you're taking care of the land?
Exactly. And it's very physical work. It really brings you into a different place, like time kind of stops and you're kind of moving with the sun. You really get to be using your whole body and there's a lot of problem solving on a farm. You have analytical problem solving, like irrigation systems and how do we fix these problems that are happening on the land. And there's a lot of observation involved. You're always trying to look at stuff and say, like, is this doing well? Is this plant growing well? Is the water flowing right? There is an analytical piece to it. You get to I probably walk 5-6 miles easily any day I'm out on that blueberry farm. You're always in motion. There's a lot of research that shows your best creative thinking is actually when you're walking. With this upright, blueberries they're kind of big plants. They're taller bushes. And so you're actually doing a lot of work upright with them, which is great because a lot of our work today is kind of hunched over the computer. And I get to do this kind of second job, I would say, but I get to be in an upright posture, moving my body, engaging all my senses, and not using a computer, not using even paper really that much, but everything in your head and very spatial. It's very restorative and it's very engaging. For somebody who wants to do something else, you want to do more, it's a great way to do more, but to do something that's almost restoring you while you work.
And what's going to happen in August?
Well, in August, so part of my time is on the farm and part of it is in Jacksonville, Florida, with the theme of health and transformations that need to happen in our healthcare, problems we need to solve, and the kinds of amazing innovations that are happening and people coming up with great solutions. We're organizing a mini conference. It's an afternoon event. It's August 26th or 27th. We're figuring out the demo location. And it's going to be part of Jack Tech Fest, which is a bigger event here in Jacksonville for celebrating technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, and problem solving. And it's called Next Wave Health. So this year it's a mini conference, and we hope that people who are interested in learning about what's going on in our healthcare system, how they can get involved, innovate, solve problems, that they'll attend and hear from some of the doctors and innovators, as well as maybe even some patients about their experiences, what they see as the future trends and needs of our healthcare system.
Congratulations. What is your favorite food then?
Oh, difficult to say, but I do love blueberries, no denying. But I think coffee has always been my top food.
Anything else that you do when you don't work? Not on the farm, not art, not analytical. Is there anything else that you can add into your busy life?
I love my family and reaching out to my family. So any free time I have, I'm on blah, blah, blah with my mom and then my grandmothers. And I've got a sister and a brother. So everybody can get a phone call from me if they have time and I have time. I just love being able to stay connected with everybody in my family. And my family's spread over multiple countries and 2 continents. Being able to stay connected with all of them in our modern age with all technologies is just an incredible blessing.
Let's finish on this high note, but thank you so much and keep going. I want to see your blueberries, also taste them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow, what a cool conversation. What are you taking away? Take It From the Ironwoman. We have episodes every Monday, and Take It From the Ironwoman is also the book Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallel. Download it or get it in your local bookstore, shop local and support local businesses. Thank you for your support, and also like and subscribe to the podcast where you're listening to this podcast. We'll see you next time, and bye-bye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.